Coming home supposed to feel like something. Relief, pride, joy, whatever the commercials sell you. But for me, it was just quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you realize the world kept moving while you were stuck in the same hellhole for 2 years. I didn't call Rebecca to tell her I was coming home. Figured I'd surprise her. You see it in movies, guy walks through the front door, the wife screams, jumps into his arms, and they live happily ever after. I wasn't expecting Hollywood, but I thought I'd at least get a smile. The airport was the same as when I left, crowded, loud, indifferent. People looked at my uniform like they weren't sure whether to thank me or pretend I didn't exist. I didn't care. Spent the cab ride staring out the window, watching the neighborhoods get more familiar, each turn bringing me closer to what I thought I'd been fighting for. When I got to the house, it looked fine. The lawn was a little rough, but not bad. Rebecca always sucked at keeping up with that stuff, but I wasn't expecting perfection. I walked up the driveway, my boots heavy on the pavement, and stood at the door for a second, roses in one hand and my duffel in the other. I thought about knocking, but it's my damn house, so I just walked in. She was in the kitchen. Knife in her hand, slicing lemons like nothing had changed. For a second, I just stood there, watching her. Her hair was pulled back, the same way she used to wear it when we first met. She looked good, but something about the way she moved was off. Like she was too calm. When she finally saw me, she froze. Didn't drop the knife, didn't run to me. Just stared. "Adam," she said, her voice sharp, like I wasn't supposed to be there. "Hey," I said, smiling like an idiot. "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" Her eyes darted around like she was looking for something, an excuse, maybe. "I live here," I said, stepping closer. "Figured I'd surprise you." She laughed, but it didn't sound right. "Well, you sure did." She cut herself off, her hand brushing at her hair like she was stalling. "Why didn't you call?" "Wanted to see your face." I held out the roses. She took them but didn't look at me. Her smile was tight, forced. She grabbed a vase from under the sink and started filling it like it was the most important thing in the world. "You okay?" I asked, leaning against the counter. "Yeah. Of course. I didn't expect you, that's all. It's been a while, you know. I've gotten used to you not being here." It felt like a slap, but I let it slide. 2 years is a long time. People change, right? We sat down for dinner, leftovers she pulled from the fridge. Spaghetti. She talked about her book club, her workout classes, and some new series about a woman who kills her husband. She laughed a little too hard at that one. When I asked about the yard, she said, "Oh, Evan's been helping with that. You know me, I'd kill the grass in a week." Evan. My best friend. I nodded, told her that was nice of him. But something about the way she said his name didn't sit right. She was too casual, like she'd rehearsed it. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling. Rebecca was curled up next to me, but it didn't feel like her. She didn't smell the same, didn't breathe the same. She flinched when I reached for her, said she was tired. I told myself it was just adjustment. She needed time. Hell, I probably did too. But deep down, I already knew. Part 2, Cracks in the Mirror. The thing about war is it makes you see everything in pieces. You look for patterns, things that don't fit. A patch of dirt out of place might be an IED. A car parked too close could have a bomb under the seat. You stop trusting coincidences. Coming home, I thought I could turn that part of my brain off. But once you've trained yourself to see lies, they don't go away. Rebecca wasn't acting right. At first, I told myself it was just because I'd been gone so long. 2 years is enough time to make anyone different. But it wasn't just her, it was everything. The way she avoided looking me in the eye. The way she smiled too big at my jokes, like she was trying to convince herself she still thought I was funny. And then there was the phone. She was glued to it. Always texting. Always leaving the room to take calls. Work stuff, she'd say. Book club stuff. I didn't press her, yet. One night, about a week after I got back, she came out of the bathroom smelling like perfume. The kind I didn't recognize. "Since when do you wear that?" I asked, leaning against the doorframe. "Oh, this?" She laughed, brushing past me. "Got it on sale last month. Figured you'd like it." "It's nice," I said, following her into the bedroom. "Who'd you wear it for?" She stopped, her back to me. I watched her shoulders tense for half a second before she turned around, smiling. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," I said, sitting on the bed. But it wasn't nothing. My gut told me something was off. Evan came by a few days later. Said he wanted to check in, see how I was settling back in. He walked through the door like he owned the place, cracking jokes about how I must have brought half of Afghanistan back in my boots. Rebecca laughed a little too hard at that one. We sat in the living room, beers in hand, and talked about football, work, the usual crap. Rebecca was in the kitchen, making snacks or pretending to. She kept glancing over her shoulder at us, like she was watching something she didn't want to miss. "Appreciate you looking out for her while I was gone," I said to Evan, my voice steady. He waved it off. "What are friends for, man? You know I'd do anything for you." "Yeah," I said, watching him closely. "I know." He didn't flinch. Just took a long pull from his beer and started talking about the new truck he was thinking about buying. But something about the way he said anything stuck in my head. That night, I started checking her phone when she wasn't around. It wasn't hard, she wasn't as careful as she thought. Most of it was innocent enough, texts with her friends, emails about work. But then there were the gaps. Messages deleted. Calls listed with no duration, like they'd been cancelled the second they started. Then I found the picture. It was buried in a folder labeled bills, like she thought I wouldn't look there. A picture of her, in our bedroom, wearing something I'd never seen before. She was smiling, her lips painted red, the kind of smile she used to save for me. But she wasn't alone. Evan was in the background, sitting on the edge of the bed, his shirt half unbuttoned. I stared at it for a long time. My first instinct was to smash the phone, put my fist through the wall. But I didn't. Instead, I sat there, letting the rage wash over me until it cooled into something sharper. I wasn't going to confront her, not yet. Confrontation meant giving her a chance to lie, to twist the story, to turn it back on me. No, I needed to be sure. The next day, I went through her car. Found a receipt for a hotel, 2 towns over, dated 2 weeks ago. That night, I asked her how her book club was going. She smiled, said it was great, told me about the latest mystery novel they were reading. I smiled back, nodded, pretended I believed her. But in my head, I was already planning. Part 3, The Truth. People think you need to lose your temper to get revenge, but that's not true. The best revenge comes when you stay cold, calculating. War taught me that. You don't pull the trigger in anger, you pull it because it's the right time, because the target's in your sights. By the time I found out everything, I was ice cold. The night I found that picture, I couldn't sleep. Rebecca was lying next to me, breathing soft and steady, like she didn't have a care in the world. I stared at the ceiling and thought about all the times I'd trusted her, defended her, loved her. It didn't make me angry anymore. Anger was too easy, too messy. What I felt was clarity. I waited until the next morning, when she was in the shower. Her phone was on the nightstand, right where she'd left it. She never bothered setting up a lock screen. Guess she thought I was too dumb or too trusting to check. I opened her texts first. Most of the conversations were clean, chit-chat with friends, reminders about appointments. But then I found Evan's name. They'd been smart enough to delete the messages, but not the call logs. Dozens of calls, late at night, usually when I was asleep or out running errands. I scrolled back through weeks of timestamps, each one adding weight to the knot in my stomach. Then I found the email. It was sent from her work account, buried in her drafts folder. No subject line, no greeting, just a single sentence: "Last night was incredible, I can't stop thinking about you." The recipient? Evan. I closed the phone and sat there for a minute, staring at the steam rolling out from under the bathroom door. Rebecca was humming to herself, some pop song she liked to play while she got ready. I wondered if she hummed like that for him. By the time she came out, wrapped in a towel, her hair dripping, I was already in the kitchen, pouring coffee. "Morning," she said, all cheerful, like she wasn't living a double life. "Morning," I said back, my voice steady. She kissed me on the cheek, then went about her routine like nothing was wrong. That's what got me the most, how easy it was for her to pretend. Like I didn't matter. That afternoon, I called Evan. "Hey, man," I said, keeping my tone casual. "You got time to grab a beer later? It's been too long." "Yeah, sure," he said. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just wanted to catch up. It's good to be home, you know." "Absolutely," he said, laughing. "See you tonight." We met at a dive bar about 15 minutes from my house. I got there first, ordered a whiskey neat, and waited. Evan walked in a few minutes later, his grin as wide as ever. "Adam," he said, clapping me on the back. "Good to see you, man." "You too," I said, forcing a smile. We sat at a corner table, ordered another round, and shot the breeze. Football, work, all the usual stuff. I watched him closely, looking for any cracks, any signs of guilt. But he was smooth. Too smooth. "So," I said, leaning back in my chair. "Rebecca tells me you've been a real help while I was gone. Mowing the lawn, fixing stuff around the house." He shrugged, taking a sip of his beer. "Just doing what I can, you know. Gotta look out for family." "Yeah," I said, swirling the whiskey in my glass. "You've always been good about that." He didn't flinch. Just nodded, smiling like he didn't have a care in the world. By the time we finished the second round, I knew he wasn't going to slip up. If he felt guilty, he didn't show it. But I didn't need him to confess, I already had enough. That night, I went through Rebecca's emails again. This time, I saved screenshots of everything. The emails. The hotel receipts. Even the timestamps from the calls. I wasn't sure why I kept them, maybe for closure. Maybe as evidence. The next morning, I confronted her. She was sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone. I dropped the screenshots in front of her without saying a word. "What's this?" she asked, frowning. "You tell me," I said, crossing my arms. She picked up the papers, her face pale as she scanned the evidence. For a second, she didn't say anything. Then she laughed, a short, nervous sound. "Are you serious?" she said, looking up at me. "You're snooping through my stuff now? Jesus, Adam, I thought you trusted me." "Cut the crap," I said, my voice low. "I know everything. The calls. The emails. The hotel. I know what you've been doing." Her face hardened. "You've been gone for 2 years, Adam. 2 years. What did you expect? That I'd just sit around waiting for you? I'm a human being. I have needs." "Needs?" I said, stepping closer. "You have a husband. A husband who's been breaking his back for this country while you're screwing my best friend." Her jaw tightened. "You don't get to play the victim here. You left me, Adam. You left me to deal with everything by myself. Do you know how lonely that was? I stared at her, feeling the rage bubbling under my skin, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I turned and walked out of the room. Where are you going? She called after me. Out, I said, slamming the door behind me. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the garage with a bottle of bourbon, staring at the tools hanging on the wall. By the time the sun came up, I knew exactly what I was going to do. Part 4, The Revenge. I've thought about it a lot, what it means to kill someone. They tell you in the military that you're protecting freedom, serving your country. But when you're out there, it's just about surviving. It's not personal. You pull the trigger because if you don't, you die. Simple as that. This time, it was personal. After I confronted Rebecca, she stopped pretending. She didn't try to apologize, didn't even try to deny it anymore. She moved through the house like I wasn't there, her eyes cold, her voice clipped. I didn't care. The marriage was dead the second I found that picture. But I wasn't going to let her walk away from this. Not her, not Evan. They'd taken everything from me, my pride, my trust, my life, and I wasn't about to let them keep breathing like nothing had happened. I waited for the right moment. Revenge isn't something you rush. You have to plan it, make it clean. No loose ends. The first part was easy. Rebecca had a routine, gym in the morning, yoga on Thursdays, happy hour with her friends on Fridays. I knew where she'd be, when she'd be alone. It was a Thursday night when I made my move. She'd just come home from yoga, her hair damp with sweat, her water bottle swinging from her hand. Adam, she said when she saw me standing in the living room. What are you doing? Waiting for you, I said, my voice calm. Her eyes narrowed. If this is about Evan, I told you. It's not about him, I cut her off. It's about us. She hesitated, her hand tightening on the water bottle. I could see it in her eyes, the calculation, the way she was weighing whether to fight or run. Don't bother, I said, stepping closer. You're not getting out of this. The knife was in my hand before she could say another word. One quick thrust, right under the ribs, just like they taught us in training. She gasped, her eyes wide, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. I held her there, watching the life drain out of her, until she went limp. When it was done, I wrapped her in the sheets from our bed. The same sheets she'd probably shared with him. Evan was next. I called him the next day, told him Rebecca wanted to patch things up, that she thought we should all sit down and talk. He didn't hesitate. Said he'd be over that evening. When he showed up, I was waiting for him in the garage. Where's Rebecca? He asked, looking around. She's inside, I said, motioning for him to follow me. Wanted me to grab some beers first. He stepped into the garage, and that's when I shut the door behind him. What's this about? He asked, his brow furrowing. You tell me, I said, picking up the wrench from the workbench. What? He said, his voice rising. Adam, what the hell are you talking about? Don't play dumb, I said, taking a step closer. You think I didn't know? The texts, the emails, the hotel receipts. You were screwing my wife behind my back, and you thought I wouldn't find out. His face went pale. It's not what you think. Shut up, I snapped, swinging the wrench. The first hit caught him in the shoulder, sending him stumbling back into the wall. He raised his hands, trying to block the next one, but it was useless. I brought the wrench down again and again, the rage spilling out of me with every swing. By the time I was done, his face was unrecognizable. They say revenge doesn't solve anything. Maybe they're right. Rebecca and Evan are gone, and here I am, rotting in this cell. But at least they're not out there, laughing at me, pretending I didn't matter. The cops came 2 days later. I didn't fight them. When they asked why I did it, I told them the truth. You don't betray someone like that and expect to walk away, I said. Now, every day feels the same. The guards bring me my meals, the other inmates keep their distance, and I spend my nights staring at the ceiling, thinking about how it all went down. Do I regret it? No. Some things can't be forgiven. And if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a damn thing.